It's time for Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
And you didn't think your heart was an idol factory. This is Wretched Radio. Can you think of a sin that does not, at its root, at the core, at the foundation, we get it, Mr. Thesaurus, at its very basic level is idolatry? I can't think of one. Can you? Case in point, perhaps you feel like you have been gifted with the spiritual gift of putting the worst construction on everything. You know why somebody acted the way they did. You know why they didn't return your text. You know why you weren't chosen for the gig. Because you have that spiritual gift that, frankly, we all have. Might I suggest to you, at its root, that is idolatry. Let me show you how we chart that course so that rather than just giving yourself Oprah-like self-affirmations, I'm going to think the best about other people. I'm not going to be so critical. I won't be so negative and nasty. Like it's some sort of Hindu mantra that you just repeat. It's some sort of dialectic behavioral therapy. I'll just fake it till I make it. No. We get to the heart of the issue, which is the issue of our idolatrous hearts. Do you struggle with that? Is there anybody who doesn't struggle with that? Seriously, is there anybody who they're so positive, they are so chipper all the time, they never think the worst about anybody? I haven't met that person, and I certainly am not that person. Are you also, like I am, very quick to put the worst construction on things? To come up with the worst case scenario for why somebody behaved the way that they did? And it's fascinating to me that you and I have both been busted on this, probably multiple times, haven't we? Where you think that you're just going through the reasons why it was pretty obvious you got slighted, and you've come up with a laundry list, and then you bump into the fellow or the fellowette, and they explain to you what went wrong, and you go, oh, I had no idea. I was reading an article from the Cripplegate, and the fellow was talking about his wife's management of their finances as he was going through a medical issue. He was sick. And he was a part of one of those. They're not called insurance. It's like MediShare, the Samaritans. It's not Samaritan's Purse. I think it's It's not Samaria. That's a little region. Never mind that. It's Samaritans. That it's a health sharing program. You put money in every month, and then you take it out when you need it. If you've got a special need arise, people are asked to give extra. They give extra, and then your bills get paid. I think the concept is magnificent. Well, a fellow had promised to send in thousands of dollars so that this guy could pay his just huge medical bills. It doesn't show up. It doesn't show up. It doesn't show up. What's the reason? Oh, all kinds of nefarious reasons, thought the author of the Cripplegate article called Love and Believing the Best. And they came up with all kinds of problems. Then my wife received a letter. Along with the check was an apology from the individual. I am sorry that this is late. I have cancer and am going through rounds of chemotherapy right now, and because of that have been experiencing memory loss. Oh, man. Have you not been busted like that? I have, and yet I don't learn the lesson. It requires something more than just being shamed for being presumptuous in my understanding of why somebody did what they did. I need more than that. I need an understanding of what is going on in my heart, and I would suggest to you the issue is idolatry. Do you remember the story of Chuck Swindoll? He's a magnificent storyteller. He was on one of those ministry cruises, and he's speaking every night, doing a Bible study, whatever they called it, on the boat while they're, I think, pedaling around Alaska. which everybody says is the bomb. I haven't met anybody who has gone on an Alaskan cruise and came back going, yeah, it was all right. They just, oh, it was amazing. Chuck Swindoll is on this cruise, and a fellow in the front row, first night, falls asleep. Can't help but notice it, but he figures, older fellow, jet lag, no big deal. Second night, guy falls asleep again. And he just very confessionally said, it kind of bugged him. It's like, okay, I get the first night, but really falling asleep the second time during my sermon? See, that's what's going on underneath, isn't it? How dare that guy be late with my payment? He should miss my Medi-Share payment. And Chuck Swindoll is thinking, how could he fall asleep during my sermon? Third night falls asleep, and now he's starting to simmer. During the day, he's thinking, if I run into this guy, I'm going to give him a piece of my. Fourth night, the guy falls asleep again. That's one more night of this. Well, it happens every single night. And on the last night, as the woman and the man, the husband and the wife, are leaving for the last time, she comes back into the room to share with Pastor Swindoll her gratitude for his faithfulness to the word and for understanding that her husband was falling asleep each night because he's dying with a terminal illness and he just can't stay awake that long. Have you been busted like that? I have. It doesn't fix me. It doesn't teach me the lesson that I ought to learn because I'm not understanding what is going on with my heart. Let's dig into it courtesy of Cripplegate, shall we? Love believes all things, 1 Corinthians 13, 4 and 7, Rexella. It believes the best about one another. Now, that is helpful because it's a command. You violate it, you're sinning. That will curb some of your behavior, but not all of it. It is understanding why I do the wrong thing, why I don't believe all things, hope all things. Now, we need to note that doesn't mean that we're gullible, that somebody tells us a whopper, okay. We're not dumb. The naive believes everything, but the sensible person considers his steps. But in most cases, unless somebody is just playing us like a fiddle, we put the best construction on things. So, how do we believe the best? It is defined this way: erring on the side of believing a favorable reality of another's actions and attitudes as opposed to suspicion or cynicism until clear evidence shows otherwise. So even if things are starting to, oh no, this isn't looking like this is panning out like the person is telling the truth or actually did what they said that they did, I'm going to believe it until it's confirmed. We are to believe the best for two reasons. One, we're not God. We don't know everything about motives, circumstances, trials, hurts, complicating life situations. So if we weren't there to eyewitness it, we don't know what happened or what was said. So we assume the best. Second, we believe the best because we are to love our neighbor as ourselves. That's a bit of a challenge for me too, because I've got so much love for me, I barely have any left over for you because, wow, we do love ourselves. Failing to believe the best, writes Cripplegate, is often a worship problem, a form of, here it is, idolatry. I'm worshiping my wisdom, my opinions, my thinking, my understanding, my intuition, my supposed omniscience. I am worshiping me. And I'm holding an inflated view of my discernment, my intellect, my ability to figure things out, and to simply adjudicate every single thing that I see. I don't need to, and we do this on the internet, don't we? You've got yourself a faithful teacher, year after year after year. And then you read one comment, and it's like, false teacher! I knew it! The guy never shined his shoes. The guy never took the time to put polish. By the way, Chuck Swindoll polishes his shoes.
Who does
a lot.
that anymore?
They're old shoes, but he polishes them. I think he's a military man. Maybe whatever it was. Taught to polish his shoes. But that teacher who doesn't, you knew. Really? Well, I believe that I actually have that gift. What's at the heart of it? I know best. What is that? Idolatry. That's what that is, pure and simple. We've made an idol of our own thinking abilities. Now, it is a spiral isn't it? This happens constantly. I'm sure they didn't contact me because. I'll bet they didn't like my Facebook post because. I didn't get chosen for that ministry position because. Well, maybe it's because you're not as good as you think you are. Maybe it's because the Facebook post wasn't good. Maybe it's because they had other more important pressing issues than contacting you. Do you hear what's at the root of all of that? Me syndrome. I'm absolutely, positively the most important thing on the planet, doing everything right. The heart of the matter is the matter of the heart. And when I go about the business of judging everyone negatively, what I am revealing is not my omniscience, but my foolishness, my lack of love, and my idolatrous heart, which is at the root of the problem. Does that solve my judgmental attitude? As they say in Germany, au contraire. We'll figure out how to do that next on Wretched Radio. Making professional videos is neither inexpensive nor easy, which is why